everybody, welcome back to the layout. Last update, we kind of built up Buckeye Mining Company and the surrounding scene up to this point. And today, well, this video, not just today, it's going to be several days, we're going to be starting work on the town of Martins Ferry, which is just going to be open country with a river, and just kind of trying to figure out how this works. So a little backstory and a little setting of the scene before I just start going to work. I think some context will help. So we all have layouts, if we have one in our home, and we have to make compromises. Mine has several, but one of them would be incorporating this storage unit that I built, well before I got into model railroading. It actually sat in a different spot, pretty much where Huntington is, but that's for another story. But basically it got moved over here. This was originally going to have pretty much a wall here in front. You weren't even going to see the tracks. And storage is going to be on the front half here, smaller tubs than what these, larger ones here on the bottom are. Well, I just wanted that little extra, 6 feet wide, I believe. I just wanted that room for the layout. I don't know, I couldn't help it. So, yeah, I took it. I kind of mentioned that in other videos. I took this shelf from my wife, and now she's complaining I've taken this shelf as well. So, yeah, boy. Anyway, what I have here is kind of, pieced together which parts of the layout are. And apologies if this is long-winded, but just kind of give you an idea. So you guys know, if you watch this channel, my bench height is low. That's for my kids. It's on purpose. Yeah, it's going to kill me later on, but you know what? For now, it works. The kids like it. Their cousins like it. Their friends like it. I'm keeping it. So this shelf, as you can see the wood here as I crouch down, obviously a little bit lower, right? So when I brought the track in to stay level, I had to be a little bit creative in building it up. I believe, if memory serves, the rails needed to come up 3.5 inches here to stay nice and level. So there is actually, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this well because there's no light up above us here. It's just awful. There are little pieces of 2x4s that I liquid nails to this shelf. And then I put a little bit of foam on top of that to level it out, and it worked out perfectly. So that's what's under here. Then I took some other pieces of foam and some plaster cloth and things like that and kind of pieced this together. I was going to have a road here and a highway. I've thought against that, but that's kind of what we're working with. Couple of problems is, I want a river here. There's definitely going to be a river. That's going to be part of this whole scene. Probably not this update, as I'm assuming this is going to be a couple of parts, but we'll see. But I want a river here. I'm going to be pouring the realistic water or the epoxy resin mix, whatever I decide to do. Over here, I need to raise the landform up a little bit. You see, I have some pieces of foam here. I'm using all scraps, leftovers, pieces I broke off of the layout in Mill Valley when I took out that hill. You can go back in the updates if you want to see that. That's pretty early on, but basically I want to raise this up a little bit, probably do some plaster and stuff like that over top, plaster of Paris, things like that, just to kind of get this all. This is definitely going to be lower than the tracks, but just to get a little more tapered and a little more neat. Do that on both sides. Gonna tie, I just have some pieces sitting over here, but gonna tie in to, a tunnel portal I have, which leads behind the washer and dryer, which is a whole other story as well. But just trying to tie that hill up into what should be the side of a mountain, kind of. Okay, gonna do that. Now, the last bit of issue is, let's see if I can show you a good angle of it here, is behind. I have that backdrop painted back there, but then, oh, look, the end of the earth exists on my layout. Well, I need to fix that, because if I'm going to be, shooting here, shooting videos of trains or whatnot, you're going to see that. If I'm taking pictures, you're going to see that as well. So kind of brainstorming some ideas there of how I can raise this up with very little foam, because this is sitting 3.5 inches up. So more on that, as I have some leftover pieces of wood back there that I think I'm going to experiment with first to save foam. More on that later. So I know, long intro, lots of explaining, lots of rambling, but hopefully this gives you an idea of what I'm working with on the scene. Kind of, unorthodox with some things here, but just to give you an idea of what's under here, why maybe I'm doing it a little bit different. As you know, I kind of half started the scene, stopped, and now I'm picking it up and kind of trying to work it in now that I have more of a vision, now that, this scene over here is taken care of to a certain extent. I can start to see this scene taking shape as well. So that's enough of an intro. I am going to start probably by gluing this foam down and just kind of working on the front half here while I brainstorm on what I'm going to do on the back half. So more to come in a little bit. Okay, in progress here. Got some foam. It is, I use liquid nails and just kind of filling in some of the lower spots here and here in front. Also trying to bring it up into that tunnel area. Here in the front, I ripped out some foam and kind of just wanted a little piece of land here in between where this bridge kind of sits on. So just kind of reshaped that. In the back, kind of tapering it up to that post there to hopefully hide that a little better. Same deal over here on the other side. I may do a retaining wall coming off the tunnel here, but we'll see. My plan for behind the track there, let me come around the post here. I think it worked pretty well. Kind of look back there. I did use like 2x3 wood, smaller pieces, set it on its side like this. Used the liquid nails for that to save a little bit of foam. So you can see it kind of flattens out as it nears the river, and then kind of a drop off again. But I think it definitely fills that little void in behind the tracks. So that is all drying. Probably some more carving to do as well. I kind of worked on the slope down to the river here on both sides. Still need to kind of tweak that a little bit. Still need to fill in some gaps that created when I cut that, kind of the edge of the plaster cloth I had used prior. So still a little work to do there. Once I form more of that, that'll happen next, and then I'm going to start with some more plaster just to fill in here, kind of level things out. That'll be next. So for now, just kind of waiting for this to dry. After that plaster cloth, or just plaster, I mean, we'll be painting and doing ground cover after that. Like I said, this scene's probably going to be a couple of videos. We'll see how far we get in this one, but I do have some products coming for the river, for the river pour and, for putting in the riverbed and things like that. So just getting everything in line for this scene to take shape, but starting to get somewhere, slowly but surely. I do want to also mention that bridge I didn't really touch on, I don't think, in the first segment. That's literally thin cardboard with with printed out stone, kind of like I did on the retaining wall over in the mine scene here. I think this is going to get swapped out on the bridge. I've been looking at some pictures of bridges this style. It's a little bit different, more of like a viaduct type bridge almost. It is ballasted. I wanted to kind of keep it like that. So just looking for more prototype pictures on that. More to come later as well for there. But for now, waiting for this to dry, and then more carving and plaster coming up shortly after that. Okay, everybody, got the plaster down. Just kind of filled in some spots here. I know it's not the smoothest looking, but you know, this is a hillside. It's going to be covered with bushes and grass and trees and all that stuff. Filled in this gap here and a little bit going on up in there. Also did the plaster. Again, this is plaster of Paris. I've used the Woodland Scenics plaster, all sorts of different kinds. This acts just like it, and if anything, it probably sets quicker. Maybe, I don't know. Off my memory it did, but I could be wrong. But set up pretty quick. I did take that bridge off the front and left the back part. I don't know if you can really see it, but just kind of a dam back there. When I do this river pour, it's not going to go clear, you know, to the other side. I'm going to stop it. You're never going to be able to see the reflection on the other side. So, I mean, I'll paint the river still. And I may put plaster back there just to smooth it out. But, you know, this front part is really the, you know, the main focus. So that's all dry and, well, almost dry. It's setting up. These parts here on the side are dry. I'm going to start doing my brown paint and ground foam and all that stuff. I got it all setting over here as we traveled to my washer and dryer. I covered this on the last video, but just pre-mixed paint, a couple of different fine turfs. I think I do burnt grass, green blend. I kind of mix them up in this guy to kind of get a blend between them. Yeah, there's the burnt grass. This is not ballast, I promise you. It's like the earth fine turf. I just reuse containers. A little bit of coarse turf here as well. Just going to be mixing all that in on the paint as it's wet. You know, liquid water, or liquid water. Wet water, which is also kind of goofy when you think about it. And then my glue mixture there to kind of work on all that. So that's what I'm going to do now. Get the ground cover on the back parts and on the front. And then once this is fully set up, probably the next segment, but once that's fully set up, I will start painting the riverbed to try to get the color I want, which is always a process, but we'll deal with that here in a little bit. So ground cover next. Okay, everyone, got the ground cover on and it's drying. You know, did the paint and the ground foam, wet water, glue, all that good stuff. On this side, a little section there, and up over on this side. That is drying. You can still see the glue there pretty good in that light. That is drying. Gonna let that set up. Yeah, there's still a lot of that brown paint shining through from before, and also just on some edges still. That's fine. There's gonna be bushes, trees. It's all gonna get blended in a little bit nicer than it is right now, but this is the beginning stages still. To be quite honest, this is the stage where I do this and I see all the imperfections and I'm like, ugh, I just want to like restart it. But you got to kind of trust the process here. Got to kind of let it dry, let it do its thing, and then you come in with the next step, and then from there it starts to take better shape. So just trying to fight the urge right now. What I'm going to do here in the meantime is focus on smoothing out the riverbed and choosing the color that's going to work best. The river in Yakagani is a little bit dark for my liking now that I've had it for a while. I mean, I did that pre-YouTube days. I might go a little bit more brownish here, you know. But anywho, that's just kind of my thoughts coming out here. Gonna do that, and then I'm waiting on materials for the actual river pour. Um, those are on the way. That'll probably be in the next update. I think what I'm gonna do is just kind of paint the riverbed here and probably call this update complete for now, and then we'll do a part 2 where we actually pour the river, add bushes, maybe even work on the bridge. Who knows? I don't really have a plan. If you've ever noticed, if you follow the channel, you kind of see that I just kind of go for it. So why change now, right? We're going to keep going for it. So more to come once I get this road or riverbed, excuse me, once I get the riverbed painted. Okay, everybody, the river has been painted, at least the first coat. I just used acrylic paints and actually had to water them down a little bit because I didn't really have enough, and I mixed them up a little bit, and because I don't plan anything, I had to try to paint underneath all that, which you can't really see all that well, but it's painted under there until the other edge, you know, has a little bit of a barrier, so when we pour the river, it won't go gushing off the sides. So yeah, this is like an olive brown, muddy, murky river, which is typical in Pennsylvania and in Ohio and really anywhere unless, I don't know, a big citywide event is going on. I remember Pittsburgh would always dye the river when they were having like the regatta or something like that. It was always just, it looked so crystal clear whenever they had a big event. But I don't know what they did. I assume they dyed it, but who knows? But anyhow, this is what the initial coat looks like. I might come back over just because, like I said, I watered it down. There's some lighter spots like right in here that I probably want to darken up a little bit. So that'll be coming once this dries. I mean, I literally just did this, so we'll kind of see what we have here. But for this update, I think we're going to be done for now. Like I said earlier, waiting on supplies for the actual river pour, and that'll probably be in the next, well, it definitely will be in the next update, along with working on the bridge as I've taken out, you know, that structure, if you want to call it that. Still brainstorming some ideas on that. We need to add bushes. We need to add trees. The trees kind of like what it was like in, you know, right over here to the left, you know, waiting on trees over here for when it gets warmer. Probably in the same boat over here on the shelf as well. But we can at least get some bushes, get some more, you know, thicker clump foliage and things like that, just to kind of make it look a little bit more overgrown. Add a little bit more greenery to it as we wait in the meantime. You know, right now we're almost at the end of February here in Ohio. So maybe another solid month and a half of this cold, and then we can hopefully get some warmer days. We are approaching the time of year where you might get lucky and get a 60-degree day, which, you know, for me, if it's sunny enough, I might do super trees, you know. We'll see, but certainly can't really plan for it. Anyway, I'm done ranting on the weather. If you can't tell, I'm kind of tired of winter. I like the snow, but when it doesn't snow and it's just kind of cold and gray, you know, what's the point really? But it has been a mild winter, so that's probably good. But all right, enough of the weather, right? So, like I said, waiting on this to dry, waiting on materials, and yeah, just looking for more ideas on the bridge as I continue to research that. So thank you as always, everybody that followed along here, that watched this process as we're starting to take over this shelf to make it look like a scene. This is going to be one of those scenes that continues to add details over and over, you know, as time goes on. But for now, this is the initial stage. So like I said, thanks for watching. If you have not subscribed, please do so. I really appreciate each and every one of you that have followed along. Tell your friends, tell your family. I want more people watching, right? I just love sharing with the model railroad community, and it's fun talking to you guys, commenting on your videos, you commenting back. Really is encouraging just to see what everybody's working on. So please continue to do so. If you have any comments, feel free to leave those as well. I always read those, try to respond to all of them. I think I respond to all of them. You know, love your ideas, love your input. So thank you for doing that. And with that, I will wrap this update up right now. Thanks as always for watching. This is Jake from the Mill Valley Sub. We'll see you next time.